I've been playing Pokemon for as long as I can remember, and I've always been intrigued by the variety of challenge runs that others have been doing. The most common one that you probably already heard of are Nuzlocke. This is basically a challenge run where your Pokemon choices are limited to the first encounter in each route, and every Pokemon that faints is unusable for the rest of the game. This is done to add a bit of a more challenging difficulty curve while playing. Although I've watched many people do this, I've never really done this myself, until now. I'm going to attempt my first ever Nuzlocke and add a bit of a twist. Every Pokemon in the game will be randomized, from the starters to the trainers to the encounters. Now this might make things a bit easier, but I decided to do this because I thought it would be more fun, well for me at least. I will be progressing through each game based on this difficulty tier list created by Pokemon challenges, with Pokemon Y being the first. With all that said, here's my first ever attempt at a random lock. The game starts off with the professor showing off his leap and gives us the general explanation of what these creatures are. I then select my gender, skin tone, and name myself Justin. I quickly change out of my pajamas and have a quick chat with my mom. I'm then greeted by my rivals outside and follow them to get my first Pokemon. My options were Shedinja, Excavalier, and Skiddo. After considering my options, I decided to go with Excavalier, which I then named Sal. I took my leave but was challenged by my rival. She decided to choose the Ninja. Luckily I had Peck, so I was able to knock it out and complete my first Pokemon battle. I made my way back home to have a chat with Mom again to receive a map. I then make my way to Route 2 to learn how to catch Pokemon from Serena. With all the intro stuff out of the way, I finally got to run into the grass and get my first encounter, which was Chansey. I weakened it with Peck and chucked a Pokeball at it. Once I caught it, I named it Joy. I made my way to the forest and encountered my first trainer. Out of all the Pokemon he could have managed to get, he got lucky with Spearow. I sent out Sal for an easy knockout. I entered Sandalwood Forest, which means it was time for another encounter. I remember that the Pokemon abilities were randomized too, so I took a quick look. Sal had Honeygather and Joy had Minus. Nothing really helpful at this moment. I ran into the grass and encountered a Typhlosion. I threw a Pokeball after weakening it, and I named it Doug. I took out the 3 trainers standing in my way and made my way out of the forest. I found my way to Route 3, which means it was time for another encounter. Or so I thought. I ran into the grass and found a Latias. Unfortunately the catch rate was too high and I was unable to catch it. I used all my Pokeballs and just decided to run away. I found my way to Sandalwood City and healed my Pokemon in preparation for the first gym battle. I beat the roller skate girls Vanillish and made my way inside the gym. I took out the 2 trainers and made my way to Viola. Sal managed to sweep for Sharpedo and Surskit, which earned us our first gym badge. I bought some more Pokeballs and made my way to Route 4 for our next encounter. I managed to catch a skunk tank and named it Crank. I made my way to Route 22 and battled this trainer. After the battle, Joy was surprisingly happy enough to evolve. I then ran into the grass for my next encounter. found a Spritzy which I caught and named it Meg. I made my way to Lumio City and found the professor. I beat him in a battle and chose another starter Pokemon. My options were Liepard, Breloom, and Talonflame. I decided to go with Breloom and named it Chad, with 2 Ds. I met up with Serena and entered the cafe to meet Lysander and the Cal's champion Diantha. I walked over to Route 5 and ran into one of Karina's Lucario. I walked into the grass and encountered a Zigzagoon. I caught it anyways and named it Zack. I then proceeded to fight Tierno and defeat his Gulpin. Trevor gave me some honey, which I definitely needed more of, and I found my way to Camphor Town. I then ran up to Shabano Castle to talk about Mega Evolution for a bit, then made my way to Route 7 to find Snorlax blocking the path. I then ran around Route 6 where I was jumped by a Metapod, which I guess now was my next encounter. I chucked a Pokeball at it and I named it Paul. I continued and made my way to Parfum Palace, and chased this guy's Furfrou into a corner. I watched some fireworks and received a Pokeflute as a thank you. I made my way back to Snorlax and used the Pokeflute to wake it up. It was randomized into a Meganium. I captured it and I named it Frank. I proceeded and was challenged to a double battle by Tierno and Trevor. With the help of Serena, I defeated them and made my way to Connecting Cave for another encounter. I ran into a Dormanitan with an imposter. After attempting to catch it by defeating 4 of them, I just found it easier to run away. I got past the cave and found Route 8 for my next Pokemon. I ran into the grass and found a Tyrogue. It kept breaking out of everything I threw at it. But after many Pokeballs later, I finally caught it. I named it Mitch, for personal reasons. I found my way to Ambret Town. I first made my way to the aquarium to pick up an old rod for some future encounters. I made my way to the water to sneak in an encounter from fishing. I found a Slurpuff and named it Meg with a 3. I went to the PC and decided to switch out Meg with an E for Meg with a 3. I made my way to Route 9 and caught an Oddish with Imposter. I named it Beth. I pushed through and made my way to Glittering Cave. I entered the cave for my next encounter. I encountered a Thundurus. Unfortunately, the catch rate was... oh, never mind. I somehow managed to catch it and I named it Thor. Unfortunately, in the cave, Crank got trapped by Gengar and got knocked out. R.I.P. Crank. I received the fossil from the scientists and made my way back to Ambret Town. I switched out Crank for Thor and put Crank in a box that I named F. I restored the fossil for fun just to see what I would get, and I got a Baneri. However, because I already received a Pokemon in this town, I was unable to use it. I went into the PC and moved it to box F. R.I.P. unnamed Baneri. I ran through Route 8 and made my way to Silage City where I healed my Pokemon for the second gym battle. I quickly fished for another encounter. I found a Farfetch'd, I caught it with a Pokeball and named it Herb. I also ran to Route 10 and caught a Dedenne, which I named Marge. I then made my way into the Silas gym to challenge the gym leader. I defeated all the trainers in the way and climbed my way to the top, literally. I then got the gym battle started. Chad took out his seal, and the Mighty Meg with a 3 took out iDragon, earning us our second gym badge. I took out Team Flare on Route 10 and made my way to Geosenge Town. I ran into Karina again and battled her for some reason. After defeating her, I made my way to Route 11. I ran into the grass and encountered a Machoke. I captured it and named it Joe. I entered Reflection Cave and encountered a horde battle. I really wanted the seal, so I took my chances and defeated all the Cranidos. Thanks to Mega Drain, I easily took them out and caught the seal. I named it Dew. I made my way through the cave to Shallow City and switched out Joy for Dew. I quickly made my way back to the cave and got the reveal glass. This will allow Thor to change forms. I then fished in Shallow City for an encounter and got Voltorb. It was named Core. I then stepped inside the Tower of Mastery and battled Serena. I defeated her, then ran to Route 12 for another encounter. It was another horde battle, this time it was Shelgon. I singled out one of them and chucked a Pokeball at it. I named it Hex. I headed back to Shallow City for the third gym battle. I defeated all the fools skating around and made my way to Karina, who I swear I've beaten already, but whatever. She started with Zekrom, which definitely had me worried. I hit it with Leech Seed and switched to Joy for a bunch of Tail Whips. I then chopped it down slowly with Double Edge. She then brought out Coffergrigus and Abra. Both of them were knocked out by Doug, giving us our third gym badge. After beating Karina for the second time, I'd made my way up the Tower of Mastery. To my surprise, Karina was there and gave me a Mega Ring. She hasn't learned her lesson yet and challenges me to another battle.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
After defeating her for the third time, she gives me an Ampharos that can Mega Evolve. It says it was caught at the Tower of Mastery, so I decided to cheat a bit and keep it even though I caught a Pokemon in this town already. I named it Finn. I surfed my way to Coumarine City and met the professor and Diantha to talk about Mega Evolution and flying. Before entering the gym, I'm challenged by Serena, who I've beaten more than Karina at this point, but perseverance, I guess. My overconfidence really got the best of me as Doug got knocked out with a critical bulldoze. R.I.P. Doug. Other than the one hiccup, the rest of the battle was a breeze. I made some adjustments to my team and made way to the gym. I parkour through the minions and challenge Ramos for my fourth gym badge. The battle starts off pretty basic until he brings out Tornadus. I then bring out Thor and show him who the superior sibling is. Finn goes Super Saiyan 3 to take out his Squirrel Rat to win us our fourth badge. I pick up a Hitmontop on Route 13 and name it Reg. I surf to Azure Bay and manage to catch an Uxie and name it Loaf. I also decided to backtrack to Parfum Palace and fish for another encounter. I was somehow given another legendary and caught Manaphy, which was named Glow. I took out some Team Flaregrunts and infiltrated the power plant they took over. Along the way I thought it was a good idea to fight this Amoonguss with Dew. It ended up knocking him out. R.I.P. Dew. After morning, Thor once again proves he's the superior sibling and takes out the commander. I then walk a bit south and interact with this dude. After that I head back to Lumio City to watch Clement light up the prison tower, which is also the gym. I play a bit of Who's That Pokemon and make my way to the gym leader, Clement. I easily take him out and earn my fifth gym badge. I'm then invited to the Lysander Cafe to meet the man himself. I'm then once again challenged by Serena on Route 14, who I defeat with no issues. While I'm here, I pick up a Kecleon and name it Lay. I listen to some spooky stories with my friends and make my way to Lavier City. I use my fishing rod to sneak in an encounter and get a grottle. I name it Gump. It was at this point that I got tired of grinding, so I just decided to use rare candies. After juicing up, I entered the gym. I teleported around until I found Valerie. I then challenged her to a battle, which I won and got my 6th gym badge. I made my way to the Pokeball factory to beat up Team Flare again. I found my way to the commanders, however due to my great type awareness again, Meg with a 3 gets knocked out. RIP Meg with a 3. As devastated as the team was, we managed to defeat them and receive the Master Ball as a thanks. I picked up an Excadrill on Route 15 and named it Flint. I also ran around the Lost Hotel and encountered a Kyogre. Out of everything I threw at it, the random Pokeball I chucked managed to capture it. I named it Shrek. I then entered the Frost Cavern and caught a Blossom, who I named Rise. Unfortunately, during our travels, Chad with 2Ds fell victim to a Mega Aggron at Sapsipper. It got knocked out. RIP Chad with 2Ds. We ran into Team Flare yet again and defeated them with no issue. I encountered a Beautifly on Route 17, however I accidentally killed it. After swimming through the snow, I made my way to Anastar City. I was challenged by none other than Serena. She was neutralized with no issues. I then walked into the gym and started focusing my energy on getting the 7th gym badge. After taking a while to make the cut, Beth had a short-lived run and was used as a sacrifice. RIP Beth. After a bit of manifestation, we finally found the gym leader. The battle was honestly pretty easy. Shrek sailed through all 3 Pokemon and got us our 7th gym badge. I then headed to Lysander Cafe in Lumios for a dinner and a battle with the man himself. I then took him out after he took me out. Anyways, I'm then met by the commanders again. I defeat them pretty easily. I then continue my way through the lab and find the 3rd commander. She was also taken out fairly easily. I then find this dude again, but this time he's locked up and made me watch this touching backstory. I take out another commander and push this red button, causing Geocinch Town to release the ultimate weapon. I then of course fly straight into danger in Geocinch Town to see what's going on. I then enter their secret HQ and once again battle the team player leader Lysander. He's beaten once again. I then enter this fancy door that leads to this cool secret lab. I beat these fools and watch Yveltal hatch from this egg. It was randomized into Zekrom. In only one Pokeball, I caught it and named it Luck. I'm then challenged by Lysander one final time. He Mega Evolves his Mewtwo, which Sal took out really easily. He then destroys his ultimate weapon, and Geocinch is left with a giant hole. I pick up a Glalie on Route 18 and name it Cone. I also pick up Furlish in Terminus Cave and name it Grace. I then made my way to Quarry Town and was challenged by Professor Sycamore. He was neutralized pretty easily. I then fished for an encounter and got Sceptile, who was named Wind. I then get to this bridge on Route 19 and take out my intimidating rivals. I entered Winding Woods and picked up a Trapinch who was named Bug. I made my way through the forest and found the 8th gym leader, Wolfric. I ran into the flowers of Pokemon Village for an encounter. I find a Typhlosion. Doug didn't give up on us and found his way back as a reincarnate. I'm not sure if this counts as a duplicate, but I'm not sure I care. He was on the verge of taking my team out, so I said f*** it and used my Master Ball. I successfully captured our new old friend and named him Doug, with a U only. I then make my way back to Snowbell City to take on the 8th gym. I Tetris my way through the gym and finally found my way to the gym leader. He was taken out fairly easily, earning us our 8th and final gym badge. Unfortunately, most of my Victory Road footage got corrupted. However, I made my way through it and prepared to challenge the Elite Four. I then enter this giant castle to start the Pokemon League, which in my opinion is the best looking one in the series. I start by entering the Ironworks chamber. Waiting there was the first Elite Four member, Wickstrom. There were no issues here. I then enter the Blazing Chamber. After the fire settles, I challenge my second Elite Four member, Malva. She was also taken out with little difficulty. I then make my way to the Dragon Mark Chamber. Awaiting my challenge was a third Elite Four member, Drasna. She is defeated like the rest of them. I then enter the Flood Chamber. After the waterfalls lagged my game, I challenged my final Elite Four member, Seabold. He is defeated, which means it was time to take on the Pokemon League champion. I step through the double door and enter the final Radiant Chamber. As expected, I find the Kalos champion, Diantha. I defeat her in battle and become the new Kalos champion. The ceremony was crashed by this dude, and he demanded a battle with his new champion. I teach him what a battle is and reunite him with his old Pokemon, ending our Kalos journey.